I want to talk about something that a lot of people don't necessarily say out loud. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that your business grows at the level that you're willing to take responsibility. But once you make the $1 million, it's not about the $1 million, it's about the person that you become. Everybody talks about business like it's some magical vehicle to success, freedom, spend the time exactly how you want, be incredibly rich, which is not necessarily not true. There's truth to it, but there's more uncomfortable truths that you can really pull out of what owning a business truly is and how it will force you to level up. Starting a business will force you to level up. Building a business actually teaches you so many things, but those things are typically incredibly uncomfortable. And I think that's exactly why it's worth documenting, because the uncomfortable stuff is, I think, what should be talked about. When I first started in business, look, I thought it was going to be easy. I thought selling things was easy. I thought we just need a little bit of marketing, and then all we had to do was hire a few people and bang, we'd be loaded rich. But it didn't work out that way. There were so many things that created pressure or friction that required me to have knowledge in so many areas that I was probably very neglectful with. The hardest part about business is the parts of the business which expose the truth about yourself. Your patience, your discipline, your ability to solve problems, your ability to understand different situations, your ability to take responsibility for things that you didn't even do, right? Your ability to stay incredibly dialed in even when things are hitting the fan. And then the best part is that you have to make decisions under intense amounts of pressure. So you got to make the right decisions. You got to definitely make more right decisions than you do wrong decisions. A business will not allow you to live under a rock. If you struggle with different things, a business will make those struggles very transparent to the people you work with and your team members. So you got to constantly be improving and getting 1% better every day. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that your business grows at the level that you're willing to take responsibility. So like the more responsibility you're willing to take on and you're able to handle it, that is exactly what will allow you to grow. So you cannot hide behind anything. You can't hide behind any emotions. You have to constantly make great decisions. Every single plateau that I've had in business was me actually trying to avoid something, like avoiding a hard conversation, like avoiding a decision that I already knew the answer to. How stupid is that? Or the worst one of all, hoping a problem will solve itself. That will never work. Problems never solve themselves. There were times where I blamed our clients. There was times I blamed our team members. There was times I blamed myself. And see, that's the only person to blame in your business is yourself. Because again, you have to take maximum and full responsibility of everything. But see, every single time I zoomed out and we were hitting a plateau in some area, it always boils down to the inability to make a decision. Right? That's all it comes down to. But in order to come to the conclusion and make the best decision possible is you may take accountability for every single thing in your business, even if it's not your fault. That was one thing that was really hard for me to figure out, but you must take accountability for everything. Everything, everything, and everything. Everything is your responsibility. It's your company and nobody else cares as much as you do. And here's another thing most people won't tell you. In business, it's going to test your consistency, not your intelligence. I wouldn't say I'm the smartest person on the planet, but what I would say is that I'm way more consistent than everybody else that I know. And that's why I win more than everybody else that you know. That's why we are the greatest at marketing for home builders, is because we are so consistent. Sometimes things take us a little bit longer, like some big things in the business that need to be figured out, hiring and, systems and processes. But because we are the most consistent, maybe we're not the most intelligent, but we actually build out systems and processes and solve problems faster than everybody else because we constantly show up and we're way more consistent. And in your business, consistency matters more than intelligence. If you're consistent, you'll just learn through the process. And look, that's what the name of the game is. Really, at the end of the day, growing your business comes down to if you can constantly do the boring, hard work every single day. The work that grows your business is never really exciting. It's the boring ass work that makes it happen. That's what grows your company. And nobody could ever convince me otherwise, because I see all these intelligent people reading their books. Well, we've already executed on 10 different things, and things are getting launched. So reading books doesn't matter. Execution is literally the only thing that matters. Here's another crazy misconception is the more you grow, and there's eventually a moment where you're going to make it. I remember when we were just starting in business and we were like, hey, once we hit $1 million in revenue, we made it, man. It's going to be amazing. And while I feel every single type of blessing these days, I mean, at the end of the day, things do never get easier. You just get way better. You get better at solving the problems. You get way more familiar with every single piece in your business. See, in the early days, always stressed about money. Like, money was a big stressor, but now the stress changes, and over time you get better. So now it's more people, leadership, right? Systems and processes, and building a company that is great and excellent. And in order to do that, you have to take responsibilities of systems and processes. You got to take care of your people, right? And so stresses just change over time. And one of the other biggest lessons that I've learned is that speed doesn't always trump progress. Speed isn't always progress. See, there was times where I felt incredibly productive, launching new things, setting up new plans, executing on different things, but sometimes those things don't even move the needle. So you need to make sure that you take the right action with speed. Don't just do things to do them. Do it with speed, the things that you're gonna do, but make sure you have an intention behind what you're doing and that it's actually insanely thought out. That'll be insanely great. Okay, number 8. Is building a company can feel incredibly lonely sometimes. You start a company, and I mean, not that many people own a company, so that's one factor, but there's gonna be a lot of work. There's gonna be a lot of questions that you ask yourself, and you're gonna have nobody that's gonna be able to relate to you because you're starting a business. Most other people don't have to deal with cash flow, financing, people, clients. So it kind of gets lonely because you wanna talk about what you have going on. But most of the people, until you build a great network of entrepreneurs, it's going to feel lonely because you have nobody else to relate to. You want to talk to people about the things you have going on, the problems you have, but nobody can really relate to the problems that you have. And so you're kind of just speaking to, deaf ears, if you will, or that's the experience that I've felt. See, number 9 is what business actually gave me was clarity. Clarity about what I'm doing, clarity about the people who I have on our team, clarity on the impact that we're making to all our clients and their families. It's crazy to me to think about working with hundreds of home builders that it's actually affecting, 500 to 1,000 people, because every single one of our clients has 2 or 3 kids, right? On average, they're all married, they all have great families. And so it's impacting so many people, including the 27 people on our team. And so as much as business can be hard, and there's so many unsaid truths about starting a business, at the end of the day, taking responsibility for everything in your life and making it happen and making an impact for your people, your teammates, there's nothing more fulfilling. There's nothing more fulfilling than seeing an impact that you're making on other people's lives. So if you're starting a business, don't do it for the money. Do it for the impact that you'll make on other people. And this game is incredibly fun. You got to do it for the right reasons. To end this video, I'm going to end it with a quote and a saying somebody once told me. If you're going to start a business and you want to become a millionaire, at first you're like, oh, I want $1 million. But once you make the $1 million, it's not about the $1 million. It's about the person that you become. Because in order to get that $1 million, you're going to have to change yourself as a person. You're going to have to constantly do self-improvement. Let's go. The way I'm going to end this is how I love to live my life. 1% better every day. Let's go. And let's stay consistent with these vlogs because I want to keep rocking it.